I came from a very conservative background, loving parents, the whole nine. I mean, great brothers. And I thought that I knew it all, like every other teenager, one time or another in high school. And I met this girl through the band at church, and so we started dating not too long after, and we got pretty serious. And I stopped listening, following my dad's advice and God's advice, and I stopped listening to both of them, and I kind of took it my own way, and ended up thinking, okay, I graduated high school, now what do I need to do? Well, I'm going to get married. So here the next thing is I go into the military, and all basically on the notion and the thought of, okay, this is what God wants me to do. He basically set me up for this. Not much praying involved, not much talking to God. And I went into basic. It was one of the hardest things I ever had to do, was leave home. I love home too much. And the girl we were still dating, and still very serious. And she told me when I left for basic that night, go before I hate you more. And I think that was my time. That was God telling me, hey, you're not listening to me. But I decided to brush it off and say, hey, you don't know what you're talking about. You're just upset with me, and you're not going to see me for 3-4 months. So I understand. Rationalize it really well, and I have a tendency to do that sometimes. So anyway, moving on. I got done with basic training. Went to tech school. I got to my first duty station. When I found out what it was, I broke down and crying, because it was Hawaii. And most people, think Hawaii, they think sweet, surfing and beautiful islands. All I could see was a big cage of water, not letting me be anywhere where I wanted to be. So again, it was all just me. So I lived for 3 years in Hawaii, and through those 3 years, I actually got farther and farther away from the Lord, and He was very adamant. Like, He would bring things up to me, like He would give me opportunities to serve in the local communities and churches, and I would always turn them down. And I'd been in the band previous to going in the military at my previous church, and it was in a very high leadership role, and I was not using it for God's glory at all after that. But so I got home from my first deployment, and I had asked this girl to marry me. So she was my fiance, and this was before I left. When I came home, I was on my way home from the desert. Actually, I was in Atlanta, the airport, and she called me, and she told me that she wanted to be friends, and she didn't know me anymore. And I was quite devastated. I think anybody would be devastated at that point. So I went home anyway. Didn't really have much choice, one-way ticket. I would buy another one-way ticket back to Hawaii after that. I lived it up for those 2 weeks I was home. Did things that I hadn't done in a long time, or hadn't done at all. I got to hang out with my brothers for the first time, because I didn't realize it until then, but this girl was sucking the life out of me. And she basically, I hate to be so mean, but she basically just kept me from being a good brother, a good friend to my friends, or to my family. And I am so glad that God got a hold of me when He did, because for about a year there, I did what I wanted to. I was 21, I just turned 21 while I was in the desert, and I lived like I was 21 and had no God. And it's the hardest thing for me to really kind of look back on. I didn't see my family for a year. It was hard. But God's sovereignty reigned supreme, because as soon as I came home, I met a family that my brothers had been involved with and they knew of, and they actually were dating the daughters of the family. And the mom actually pulled me aside and said, "Corey, you have all the ability in the world to do whatever you want to do, but you need to listen to what God wants you to do." And that was really hard for me to do. I thank her so much. She gave me memory verses every time I saw her. She would just support me in any way that she could. And outside of my own mother, I probably consider her number two. I still thought I could rationalize my way through anything, but she broke all those down, and basically told me that God is supreme for a reason, because we screw it up. It was very humbling. So through her, actually, I met my wife, my current wife, Beth, and I thought, God was joking at the time, because it was just, I thought it was too humorous, the fact that he had somebody so awesome for me. And it just shows that God's plan for our lives will get accomplished. He will see it through, and his sovereignty will reign. Because here I am, a lot more happy than I ever was, and I'm in places where God wants me to be, and I know that this is what he wanted for my life, and I thank him so much for doing what he has, and just his sovereignty reigns supreme. It's to take me from that point, from my lowest point as 21 to where I am now. It's hard for me to really realize.